Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It has been a good evening and a good evening indeed. Coming live from the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory in Laurel, Maryland. My name is Dwayne Brown from NASA's Office of Communications. A job well done, indeed, yes? As we stand by to welcome the NASA Administrator, Charles Bolden, the APO Director, Ralph Simmel, and the New Horizons team, we are going to give them a round of applause, or an applause that is going to be heard around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome New Horizons and the team. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, New Horizons. The New Horizons team. Yeah. The New Horizons team. USA.
How's it feel? It's great. Must feel great, huh? Yeah. Okay. This is wonderful. Way to go. Congratulations. Oh, that's good. Adrian, way to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It is my honor and pleasure to welcome to the podium and for the opening remarks, APO Director Ralph Simmel.
Well, thank you very much. This This is just amazing. You know, we actually had a rock band visit us a week or two ago. These are the rock stars. You know, I've had the opportunity to observe the team design and build this spacecraft. I've had the opportunity to observe the team operate this spacecraft. I've had the opportunity to observe the team recover from an infamous anomaly a week and a half ago. It is unbelievable. What they have achieved is just beyond belief if you haven't worked in a pretty hardcore engineering and technical environment. We're obviously incredibly proud of the achievements of the entire New Horizons team, involving folks from all over the nation, as I mentioned before, from academia, industry, government. We could not have done this, and it demonstrates what this country is able to achieve when it puts its mind to it. And more than this country, it demonstrates what the world can achieve when we work together in a collective manner. This is really... You know, I've often referred to this as a point of pride for the nation, but as I've seen the global excitement in this mission grow, I think it's a point of pride in the world. It really is just an amazing accomplishment. And when we look at Pluto, you know, what has it given us? Whales, donuts, and a heart. So Pluto has a heart. Although we discovered today that it's a two-toned heart, but that's another story. You know, obviously, in case we didn't say it, we received the signal. You guys saw that. And you know, now the cool science just continues to roll on. And you know, I just want to congratulate the many people and organizations involved in this mission from start to finish. It's one of the most amazing teams that I've had the opportunity to be associated with, and I'm just fortunate enough in my position to be representing them up here, but they are the folks that deserve all the credit and praise. So thank you very much. And now you're going to hear from, obviously, a very distinguished panel. But before that, what I'd like to do, I have the honor and privilege of introducing NASA Administrator Charlie Bolden to come up and give a few remarks. Charlie.
Yeah. What a phenomenal day. You know, their day started like 10 years ago. For many of them, but for some of us who kind of had a hard time going to sleep last night because we were really anxious about this day and then went through the day, the team up here, many of them are not aware of what an incredibly historic day this has been in many regards. And what's really, really, really important for the team is to understand that they were on the front page, they were on the headline, they were on the news all day long in spite of everything else going on in the world. And you know, I will add what I said. We walk and chew gum. You know, we can do many, many things, and we demonstrated how great our nation is in what we did today. I'm incredibly delighted to be here, to just share this time with this team, to thank you again. I had an opportunity to thank them over in the control center, but just to help them to celebrate this incredible milestone. I know some of you are wondering about my sling. I'm not going to tell you. Just let it be known that just before surgery, all my surgeon wanted to talk about last Wednesday was New Horizon, and he's an Army surgeon, and I didn't even know Army guys could spell New Horizon. Hey, Well, I can say that because I'm a Marine, and I can guarantee you that if it weren't written on my paper, I couldn't spell it. But I want to congratulate the NASA, APL, Southwest Research teams, and everyone who's had a hand in this incredible success that culminates today. It's not over, but as they have been telling me, I thought they were going to be able to go home and start working on something else, but they tell me it's not over. So I don't know what that means. Once again, we've achieved a historic first. The United States is the first nation to reach Pluto. And with this mission, we have visited every single planet in our solar system. You really need to stop and think about that. And there is no other nation in the world that has the capability of doing that. And we did it. It has been a long time coming, but for some of the team, it's been like a lifetime, but it's really, really, really important. It's another thing that's important. This started years before I became the NASA administrator, so I bear no credit whatsoever other than watching everybody. Is Mike Griffin still here? Mike Griffin was the NASA administrator when I'm learning a lot of stuff tonight. Let me tell you, it's good to come to these things because you learn how we got here. But Mike Griffin was the NASA administrator when the decision was made that we were really going to go do this. And at least that's what I'm told. And then President Obama came into office, and I came to work for him. But 5 years ago, the president challenged us to make sure that America's space program remained the leader in exploration, both human and robotic. And we wanted to strengthen America's leadership, both here on Earth, while we continue to reach even farther into our solar system and beyond. And I think that's exactly what we've done. NASA as an agency is on a journey to Mars with other agencies around the world. And every mission in science and exploration is expanding our knowledge of our solar system and our universe and helping pave the way for the next spacecraft and human missions to the farthest destinations. Today's mission was just one more step on the journey of getting humans to Mars because it gives us one more piece of the puzzle about our solar system. One more piece to help us understand how it all formed, what's going on here and everything. So an incredible day for everybody. In the 2030s, this journey of discovery will bring American astronauts to a place that has sparked imagination for generations, that place being Mars. New Horizons has sent back and will continue to return the most detailed images and measurements ever taken of Pluto and its system. We'll continue to learn about Pluto, its composition, the atmosphere and moons, and for a long, long time to come, as we analyze New Horizons data, we will learn more and more each day. I know today we've inspired a whole new generation of explorers. All you need to do is look around. There are not quite as many of them as were here earlier, but we were literally stumbling across kids when we came out earlier today. And I tell people, there are some up there. Fantastic. And all right. Was that right? The Pluto kids. Is that right? You all were actually born the day the mission was launched, some of you? Wow. Wow. Unreal. But, that's what this mission is about. It's inspiring the next generation. I tell David Weaver, my director of communications, and I talk about this a lot. This is not about us. It's not about any of us in this control team. It's really about the next generation of people. You have inspired the next generation unbelievably in what you've been bringing to us over the last few days. We were talking about the fact that you have made Pluto almost human. Pluto has features and character and everything. It's because of the work that you've done and the way that you've presented it. And I think that as we continue to look at the data and the images, we're going to be even further mesmerized by this incredible planet. Inspiration like that provided by New Horizons will keep interest and enthusiasm strong for the next generation to make their own giant leaps. Again, let me just say, congratulations to everyone. It's a historic win for science and for exploration. Today, we've truly once again raised the bar of human potential. Let the journey of discovery continue. Thank you all very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live here at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory here in Laurel, Maryland. And it's kind of a hard act to follow because this is going to be a media briefing, but it has been a celebration. Again, another round of applause to the New Horizons team for a job well done. Okay, team, if you can make your way over to, go ahead that way. Go ahead and make yourself. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Congratulations again, team. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been truly a historic day, a historic night. We end this evening with the media briefing with the individuals here who will give brief remarks, and then we will open it up for questions. Since it has been a very long, long day, we're going to try to keep this short. We have a media briefing tomorrow at 3 p.m. where you will see, as you will hear from the folks here, some of the most incredible images of Pluto. You ain't seen nothing yet. Isn't that right, Alan? That's right. Okay. First up, you will hear from John Grunsfeld, 5-time Space Shuttle-flown astronaut and Associate Administrator for NASA's Science Mission Directorate in Washington, D.C., NASA headquarters. Then Alan Stern, the New Horizons Principal Investigator, Southwest Research Institute in Boulder, Colorado. Glenn Fountain, Project Manager. And I think someone who is really, really famous at this time, Alice Bowman, Mission Operations Manager. Well, John, go ahead. Over to you.
Thanks, Dwayne, very much. I'll try and keep it short because I really want to get to the team. But, Charlie mentioned that Pluto New Horizons has been in the news all day long, and that's absolutely true. And it's because we're all making news. But if you think it was big today, wait until tomorrow and the next day. We haven't seen anything yet. This is really just the beginning. This is, the equivalent of the Curiosity rover landing. It's the beginning of the mission, even after, almost a decade in transit, many more years, of attempts to get a Pluto mission, and then once Pluto New Horizons was selected and was being built, who could have imagined that we'd all be here with a successful encounter of Pluto? And tonight, indeed, your team made history, and as a team, we all have made history. This can never be repeated. This is in the history books. And Alice said that the spacecraft is full of images. We can't wait. We've opened up a new realm of the solar system, a new realm of human discovery. And it's human discovery, it's people discovery. The spacecraft just did what you told it to. And that's fantastic. That being said, and thinking about the safe mode entry just a little while ago, there's nothing like, a safe mode event to sharpen one's senses. What we're all doing, what you've done is really hard. We're here with the happy moment. It could have been otherwise, and we know that from the history of space exploration. Mariner 4, 50 years ago, was the first spacecraft to fly by Mars 50 years ago because Mariner 3 didn't make it. So, we should all be really thankful. I'm very thankful that all of you worked incredibly hard, built a wonderful spacecraft, operated a great spacecraft, because space is hard and extremely unforgiving, and I think you all know that. As I said, this is just the beginning. We're embarking now on 16 months of great science. This is fundamental research. This is incredibly important. And so my charge to all of you who are here tonight, who have had the opportunity to experience it, to all of those folks who are listening, to the reporters, to the social media folks, share this as much as you can, because this is a tremendous moment in human history. And for the team members, as I've said several times, take this home to your family and thank them for letting you do this, because I know what kind of sacrifices are involved. And specifically for the ops team and specifically for the missions ops manager, Mom, go home and get some sleep. Congratulations to everyone. Everyone get some sleep, because tomorrow it's going to get really exciting. And to tell you a little bit about that and to frame it is the principal investigator, Alan Stern.
Sit down, John. Is this live? Thank you, John. Those are great remarks. Well, New Horizons is a big team, and our flight control team is just unparalleled. But there are a lot of other people on the New Horizons team, and many of them are in this room, and I'd like them to stand up. I have something to say. If you're on the New Horizons team and you're in the room, whether you're on the science team or the engineering team, project management, public affairs, whoever you might be, or if you're in another part of this Kozyakov Center, I want to say to you just 3 words. We did it. Take a bow. Stand up. So I have never been one to underplay the significance of this mission, and so I'd like to just wait. I'd like to characterize that DSN pass you all just watched as one small step for New Horizons and one giant leap for mankind. And finally, before I turn this over to Glenn, I just want to put this in a little bit of perspective, and so let me just read these remarks. Following in the footsteps of legendary projects by NASA, called Mariner, Pioneer, and Voyager, New Horizons has succeeded at completing the capstone event to the historic first era of planetary reconnaissance, a half-century-long endeavor that will forever be a legacy of our time. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to make my remarks quite brief because the science team wants to go back and look at the gorgeous data that they have so they can come back here tomorrow and dazzle us all. And they will dazzle us because you've seen just a hint of that data that we showed today, and there is more to come. I echo the words that have already been said about what a team, and it is. I can't express my thanks and my awe of this team. They have done it all from the day we started building this spacecraft in a schedule that most people thought was not possible, got it launched, and now have flown it across the solar system to reach the goal. That is a magnificent goal and achievement, and I want to turn it over to Alice, who has guided the spacecraft across the solar system. Alice?
Well, gee, I'm not sure how to follow that. I haven't had a lot of sleep, and you know, it is truly. I know we've been using this word a lot, amazing, because it's the one that just pops to the tip of our tongue to say. An awesome team. The recovery was flawless, and it had to be flawless. We were up to the challenge. We met it. And on a personal note, I can't express how I'm feeling to have achieved a childhood dream of space exploration. I'm pretty overwhelmed at this moment, and I just want to say thank you to everyone, and please tell your children and anybody out there, you know, do what you're passionate about. Don't do something because it's easy. Do something because you want to do it. Give yourself that challenge, and you will not be sorry for it. So here we go, out to the solar system.
Okay, let's go ahead and transition into the question and answer period. And as Glenn said, the team is anxious to get back, get to the data, because we have a press conference for the world tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. So let's wait for the mic, start here, give your name and affiliation.
Emily Lochtawala for the Planetary Society. Can you tell me anything about what kind of data you may have gotten down with this data stream?
Yeah, well,
also, congratulations.
We should clarify, thank you very much, Emily. We should clarify that this e-health check was entirely engineering data and no science data that came home tonight. That was by design because we wanted to just find out the status of the spacecraft. We found out that it was on the timeline, that no autonomy error messages had been generated, and that all the telemetry looked good. And Alice may want to add to that. But we wanted that report to be as brief as possible because as soon as it was over, New Horizons went back to work collecting that data. Alice, do you want to add anything about what information came to ground?
Well, as Alan said, we didn't have any autonomy rule firings, and what that means in layman terms is that the spacecraft was happy. and it was very happy to go on and collect more science. And the main computer system has the data recorder, and our C&DH engineer had reported that the expected number of segments on that recorder had been used. And so that tells us that that data has been collected on the spacecraft.
Bill?
Bill Harwood, CBS News. For Alice, you told us this morning you confessed to a very slight bit of trepidation waiting for a signal to come back. Can you tell us what you thought when you got the word that you had lock on the telemetry? And I mean, I know you're calmly relaying everything, but what did you feel down deep?
Well, back to that parent and child story. You have a lot of faith in your children, but sometimes they don't do exactly what you expect them to do. So it's sort of that feeling, you want them to be home at 8 o'clock, but they're not there, and so you worry. But in this instance, our spacecraft did exactly what it was supposed to do, and the signal was there for us to capture, so it was great.
Hi, Stephen Clark, Spaceflight Now. I'm hoping one of you can discuss when you actually do get the science data down. When is your next DSN pass? What are you expecting down overnight or in the morning? When does it come down? Thanks a lot.
Yeah, so, okay, I'll take a crack at that. We have a pass starting tomorrow morning that'll run for several hours. It's something that we have called the New York Times data set because we think it's going to be pretty interesting. It begins at 5:50 in the morning, and as I said, it's going to last for several hours. Included in that data set will be new imagery at 10 times higher resolution than the spectacular imagery that debuted this morning. Additionally, there'll be information from the 2 spectrometers, from ALICE and from the Ralph spectrometer, new color data, information on not just Pluto, but also Charon and small satellites. So there's going to be quite a waterfall of data for us tomorrow morning, and we're going to be reporting on what we find at 3 o'clock in another news event.
Irene?
Thanks. Irene Klotz, Discovery News and Reuters. Congratulations. Alice, is there anything in the telemetry that you can tell us about where New Horizons is right now relative where you thought it would be? And any other details about the close encounter, exactly how far did it come from Pluto, and what was the exact time of closest encounter? Thanks.
Well, our guidance and control engineer reported that we're on track, which means that we're following the path that we've laid out for the spacecraft. So the spacecraft did hit that closest approach time at 11:49 and some seconds that I can't seem to remember. And also that aim point that was expected. So the spacecraft's on track. It's outbound from Pluto, and it's going to be turning around and taking more images and spectra as it looks back towards the planet.
Ken?
Ken Kramer for Northeast Astronomy Forum and Universe Today. My question probably for Alan. I'm wondering about, this has been in transit so long, new ways to use the science instruments, ways that you never conceived of when you started this mission, and you've had 9.5 years to think about it. Are there some experiments that you can do now that you never conceived of and thought of when the mission started? I wonder if you could tell us what they are, please.
Well, thank you for asking that. There are ways that we can use the science payload that we never imagined at the time we designed them, and at the time that we launched even. And a couple of examples that will make sense to all of you. We found more moons, so we jam-packed the flight plan, all the observation plan, to be able to observe all the targets in the system, not just the ones that were originally known. Another example, which you probably don't know about, is when we flew through Jupiter's magnetosphere, our ALICE ultraviolet spectrometer experienced very, very high count rates, not due to the light signals that it was measuring, but because we found out that the detector on board is actually capable of detecting megavolt electrons. It is also a high-energy electron sensor, and we had never imagined that. It's kind of a bonus. We call it a feature. And since we have a handful of Alice's flying around the solar system, we tested our hypothesis that it's a good electron detector by using the Alice built for NASA flying on Rosetta as it made one of its Earth gravity assists, and we actually made a beautiful textbook diagram of the electron distributions in the Earth's magnetosphere. So once we calibrated the technique that way, we then apply it. We have a new mode for Alice for high-energy electrons called HEAT, which is actually searching for just those kind of signatures in the Pluto system. And we never imagined it. We've got a half a dozen other examples, and if you want to talk offline, I can give you some more of those to fill out a story. But you know, when you fly a mission for 10 years, you learn things about what you built or about the system that you didn't know when you got started, and that's a good thing.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, NASA is about inspiring the next generation, and I know this is a media briefing, but I am going to give an opportunity for one of those future generation explorers to ask a question. Go ahead.
What is the extended mission goal?
Well, I'll just speak for the project team, and John can speak for the agency. The project team has two objectives for the extended mission: to explore primordial Kuiper Belt objects and to get funded to do exactly that.
Well, we all said we'd be short tonight, so I'm gonna try and to go where no New Horizons spacecraft has gone before.
Okay, I'm gonna take a couple more questions, and then I am going to turn it over to Dr. Grunsfeld to say something and to share something that has just happened tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Two more questions from the media. Do we have it? We have Wendy back there, and one more, and then we're going to wrap it up with Dr. Grunsfeld.
Hi, I'm Alan Boyle with NBC News, and I wanted to ask Alice, what have you been doing all day? Have you been rapping on those cutting boards? What sorts of things have you been doing to ease the tension?
I can't say that I've been doing anything to ease the tension. When I left my office this morning to come down to the briefing about 7, I had the air mattress on the floor of my office, and I turned the dial so that the air would come out of it, so it was deflated. When I got back to my office, that air mattress got blown back up. And I took a half-hour nap, got up, did some email. You all know how email is. Did some more data checks on the sequence of commands just to make sure everything was okay. Like check once, twice, 300 times just to make sure everything is okay. And then sort of stressed, sort of freaked out while we were waiting for that signal to come in.
Okay, last question.
Hi, Arina Aoyama with NHK Japan. Congratulations again to the whole team. I have a quick question. Exactly what time did you receive the signal?
Carl, what did you say? Michael. Oh, Michael. At 52:37. Okay, so 8:52:37 p.m. Eastern Time. We received that signal. Thank you, Michael.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we close out, a special sharing, and I'm going to turn the podium over to Dr. Grunsfeld.
So of course, you know, this has been just a tremendous day, and you know, a lot of tired people. So, you know, you wonder, you know, who's watching. You know, we've been in here, we've been working, we've been looking around, and this is from President Obama on Twitter. Pluto just had its first visitor. Thanks, NASA. It's a great day for discovery and American leadership. And the last picture that Pluto New Horizons took on its way in. I can't wait to see what he says once he sees the pictures of closest approach and the great science that comes out from it. So again, Alan and team, congratulations. You know, just wonderful job. Get some well-deserved rest until 5 tomorrow morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the show. Tomorrow's show at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, press conference. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow from the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab. Good night.